Welcome to the House of Legends podcast, where great women become exceptional. I am your host, Graciela, founder and CEO of the House of Legends by Graciela, a mindset coach and mother of three beautiful kids. My mission and passion is to provide you with the tools that will allow you to unlock and bring out the best version of yourself, which is the key to all change. Some of those tools are mindset, identity work, and emotional mastery. Not only that, but I will also bring you powerful conversations with legends like you, showcasing their journey, life work, and allowing us to learn from their experiences and insights. So don't miss an episode. Tune in each week to the House of Legends podcast and let's unlock the power of your own legend. Let's dive in today's episode. Welcome back to the House of Legends, where great women become exceptional. I am your host, Graciela, and in today's episode, if you're watching this via YouTube, you can tell right away that I'm with a beautiful guest, a beautiful woman, Daniela Arango.
Yeah, hello.
She is one of the most powerful women in the industry. I'm not saying this because she's here. I'm saying this because that is the truth. She's a mentor for spiritual entrepreneurs, for entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs, and she's helping us to grow our business 6 figures and beyond. One of the things that I was commenting with Daniela before pressing recording here, that she has this beautiful energy, this beautiful way of being where she's so sweet and you can tell, you can see, right? You can feel her, like she's so sweet, but also she has a no bullshit attitude, which I love. With that being said, Daniela, if you can introduce yourself, let us know who you are and what got you to where you are right now.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much. We were just talking how I get that a lot from people where, I have a very open and beautiful energy. And when it comes to mentorship and guiding people, I have no bullshit kind of approach. Like I really just like to get to the point where you're not really allowing yourself to see or to, get real with yourself. Because I feel like that's the fastest way for us to transform, to be seen in that vulnerability of holy shit, I cannot hide in this space. And all of a sudden we get real with ourselves. So who am I? I'm so happy that you invited me to this podcast, Graciela. Like it's such an honor. I know we worked together last year and the work that we did together was just so beautiful. I think like from the very beginning when you jumped into my DMs, I was like, this woman has magic within her. Like I am so excited to work together. And we really just had a lot of fun. It was very deep, intentional work, but it was so much fun. And I just love you so much. So everybody that is listening, like just I'm so happy to be here and so honored and you're so lucky to have Graciela in your life and in your ears and your energy because she is just freaking amazing. So anyway, who I am, I think that that question is a very interesting question, but I am basically just like anybody else. But I have a passion towards personal development and spirituality. And that happened because of a series of events that happened in my life in regards to feeling like I knew that I wanted a beautiful life, but a lot of things outside of me triggered a lot of emotions I was not able to control. Like I don't think I've shared this a lot, but I used to have anger issues when I was going through high school because I was so emotional a lot of the times, but also at the same time trying to control myself and to not look like I didn't have it together. I have a very interesting relationship with my mom at the time, and I try to like keep everything together and have everything right. So all of that kind of got me to a point where I was like emotionally troubled with all of these things. But I knew that there was a part of me that wanted something different, that wanted something better. And I remember that when my grandmother died, that's when I was like, I need a place where I can just think, I need a place where I can be because there is a lot of emotions, there's a lot within me, and I don't know what to do with all of these things, and I want to create so many beautiful things in my world, but because of this emotional tumult within me, I don't have a space, to think clearly. So when my grandmother died, I found myself at a yoga studio.
Mm,
It was like my first yoga class ever. And I walked into this studio, I take a yoga class, and by the end, which they call this thing Shavasana, I was laying there and all of a sudden I was just like in tears. Just, I was so free,
mm,
so open. And I couldn't hold it anymore, and I didn't want to hold it anymore. And it was okay for me to just be.
yeah.
And then I realized, holy shit, this is like liberation.
Mm,
And ever since I continued to go to yoga, and yoga became a part of my life. I became a yoga teacher. But ever since that moment, I realized that there is space for us to breathe. There's a space for us to feel. And when we allow ourselves to connect to that piece of us, we connect to the divine, we connect to spirit, we connect to something greater and deeper than just this 3D world that can get us so stressed. And when we're stressed, when we are in survival, we don't really utilize our capabilities to create magic in this world. We don't utilize the extraordinary abilities and gifts that we have. So in that yoga class, I was like, if I can get people to this space where they can breathe,
mm,
if I can get people to connect to themselves and be able to think clearly and remind themselves who they are, this is going to change the game, because it has changed the game for me. So ever since, I became a yoga teacher, I taught retreats and I taught classes, and I had sessions where people just spoke to me, and I just, gave them guidance until I found this thing called coaching in the
yeah.
online space right before COVID. And then I opened my business and we went to six figures right away. And it has been a journey of going back to the basics of connecting ourselves to ourselves, like giving ourselves that space to exhale, that space to connect to spirituality, and to allow ourselves to create extraordinary lives from being who we are, doing what we love, and having what we know is possible for us.
Mm, thank you for sharing. I didn't knew about that first class, and which is pretty interesting. And you mentioned some things that I would love to go a little bit back. You mentioned about issues or with anger, or sometimes we suppress emotions, or we don't let ourselves feel, right? And for you, you said that yoga was like an outlet, something that it was like coming back home. But I would love to ask you, if do you consider that this being your first like outlet, I will say, where you felt like this is home, this is something that can change the game for people. This part, do you think that was a big impact for your business? Because you mentioned something that for many people, some of you already know about Dani, and when COVID happened, you decide to listen to your intuition and to open your own business, right? But I think the yoga part, and you were all the time, all the years in connection with yourself, allow you to move fast, because you mentioned something really key as well. Like, I went, and it was my first six-figure year, and for many of us it could sound like, wow, it was easy for her, right? But I would love to ask you, the yoga part, what do you think that was it was really like a huge part on the journey for you? Or like, I would love to go deeper on that.
I love that. And here's the thing. We all have our own timing. I think one of
Yeah.
the biggest killers of magic is comparison and
Mm,
not enough.
yeah.
A lot of the times when we hear somebody's story, we're like, oh, it happened easy for her, or that was her timing, or that was her thing. And I have been there also, when we are caught up in this comparison that doesn't help anybody. But for me, like, yes, that year happened so easily. Like, it was my first year, and then we made seven figures. I was like, oh my gosh. But here's the thing. I had been teaching yoga for a long time.
Yeah.
I had been in front of crowds of hundreds of people teaching in yoga conferences around the world. And I had led retreats. I had led, intimate retreats and big retreats. And I had also had a long time, not perfecting, but crafting and refining my, what it was now coaching abilities. Like I had a lot of experience guiding people through transformations. I had studied yoga for years. I had led my students through very, very deep things. Like I remember people coming to my yoga classes and having like incredible spiritual awakenings. So what I think it happened, it was like a climax in my timeline, in my story, that it all of a sudden, gave me this. I remember in this yoga class, the one that you're mentioning, it was one of my last yoga classes that I've ever taught. And I was sitting there and I just had this clear message. You're ready for something else. I didn't know what it was. I didn't have an online business. I didn't know about entrepreneurship. I didn't know about marketing or sales, nothing. But I knew, and I was in front of, I think at the time that class was probably 65 people. So I was in front of 65 people and I hear it so clearly. And I was able to hear it again because I had so many years of going through yoga and clearing my channel and connecting deeply with who I am, of healing so much generational trauma, so much, self-worth. Like I was healing. I had years and years of healing, like self-development. That when that message came through, even though it was super scary, and when I went to my partner to tell him, I think I'm going to quit my yoga job. And he's like, are you crazy? But I was able to make those choices and trust myself because I had developed that connection with my inner voice. I had developed that connection with myself, that I was able to, all the obstacles that were happening at the time, which was like investments that were over my head, dropping yoga job and not knowing where I was going to do it, or how I was going to make money, like all of those things, I was able to overcome them, even though it was scary, because of the compounding of personal development, because of the compounding of connections, like, that series of events that connect me to myself and allow me to really trust my own intuition. So I moved really fast, but I was also coming from a place of a lot of confidence.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then to answer your question, because I think it is important to say, in my second year of business, we doubled the business. But that year, honestly speaking to you, I had to do a lot of money work to allow myself to get to that space. And it was not necessarily as easy. I'm going to be completely honest. So two things that I teach my clients is, to me, anybody that comes and works with me, and this, right? You really connect to yourself in a deeper way that's so beautiful and so capable. But then the other key that I think it's really important for us as entrepreneurs is we first connect to who we truly are in our leadership and our spirituality. And then the second thing is we need to connect to the energy of money. We need to connect to the energy of money and also heal our relationship with it so that we can thrive as entrepreneurships from a place of trust, confidence, leadership, and also from a place of, I know I deserve this, and I allow myself to make money and to allow myself to be seen and to be cherished and to be loved by people and by money in big amounts.
Oh God, I love, love, love the fact that you bring in both parts, like the connection, the trust, the confidence, that the work behind the scenes that we get to do in ourselves, and also the relationship with money, because sometimes we get to help people here or offer our products, but when it comes to charge, when it comes to offer a package, whatever, it's like that contraction that just mess everything around, right? So and one of the things that I want to mention to the listeners, I working with Daniela, I worked with her last year, like she mentioned, it was really impactful. I think when I was working with you, I was, of course, well, coming from already working on myself and self-development and all that. But the thing that I really love and I want to emphasize here is that you go deep. Like you go deep. Like it's like, and I was mentioned to you, I was really triggered in the first calls. I was like, you were like dissecting me like in pieces, like let's look deeper and why. And I was like, and one question that it sounds is so simple, and with all the knowledge and all the experience that I was having in that moment, you asked me, who are you? And I was like, And I remember that I was like telling you my bio, things like, well, mine said that this, and that, but I was not able to express that. And I know it's kind of funny here just in the video, excuse me, video via YouTube, but it's like this woman, she knows what she's doing. Like she go deep. And right there, you allow me to move, to change my direction. And I'm not saying that happened in one day because it was a process. We were working together, right? But with that question, you open up like really, really my curiosity, and I have to go deep with myself. No more longer trying to, like you said, to showing up but still hiding. And I from that, and I mentioned to you this before, everything started to change, like bringing this podcast, bringing new clients. Back then, I was mentioning to you, like, I coming from a place that I used to have clients, and right now, no, there's no one coming. I was like, because of my channel was not clear. But I just wanted to mention that because you really go deep, Daniela. And this is one of the things I really appreciate about you, because it's just amazing. You're not like just giving me information. Of course you do, but it's more like information that allow me to go within and integrating as well. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think here's a beautiful thing about the coaching and the personal development world, that there's so many areas that we get to touch and that we get to learn. Like, as you're saying, there is a lot of people teaching a lot of information that's so important.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of people that are teaching a lot of awareness that is so important. But when we are taking these two things, which is the action and the awareness, it is so important that we do it in the right order. And the right order is we go within to make a change in the outer world. It doesn't matter how much we try to do the outer world. Like, I have a lot of clients who come to me and they know the strategies. They're incredible women. They're doing all the things. And they're like, I don't understand why I'm stuck. Like, I know the strategies. I know the things. I used to have the clients. I used to have the things. Things used to work. Like, I'm doing the thing. Why is it not working in this moment? Why am I not growing my numbers? And it's because even though you have all the strategies, there's something within you that is not in alignment. There's something within you that you're hiding. There's something within you that is asking you to shift your direction. There's all thing within you that's calling you to greater alignment.
Yeah.
And until you don't go within and you shift whatever that little thing is inside of you, your energy continues to be off. It doesn't matter how great the strategy is.
Yeah.
And this even happens. You can make a lot of money and all of a sudden feel like, yeah, but there's just something that doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
Because there's still pressure, there's still anxiety, there's still all of these things. So we need to work through these things. In my opinion, and in the way that I worked through it, it was always the inner work first and then learning the other things and applying. Like, I'm all about, and this, like, I love strategy and I love to, go in the business and look at the things, but it really depends on the energy that we come from and what is deep within ourselves. What is that journey that we're going through as an entrepreneurships, and what does that look like in our business every time we're going to a next level in our business?
Yeah. I remember one of the things that I was back then sharing with you is like how I can connect. And I was just like, I was asking you the hows, and you're just like, it's like, go to your body knows the answer, ask yourself questions. It's like, and it was just like, I wanted to for you to give me like, this is the thing, like ABCD. And one of the things, and I would love to bring it here, is that when we get to work with you, when I get to work with you, when anyone that one that here is listening, when you get to work with Daniela, she has this magic that she pushes you. She's just like going more, more and more and more and more. But it's not a pressure or like you have to do it. No, it's like a healthy pressure. And thanks to you, I start asking myself questions. Back then, one of the things that we work together is like receiving the allow myself to receive like clients, money, right? Because, and you mentioned something amazing, like because I share with you, I already have clients, but now I'm applying the strategies and nothing is happening and what's going on. And you said, if something happened let's say you bring a client, you have the possibility to do it again. But something inside you is blocking and something inside you doesn't feel safe. It's like, no. I feel safe. I know that I want this, but I got really honest, and thanks to you, I was like, oh, I feel the contraction. Something inside me it doesn't feel safe, right? So, and I have to work on that. But that was, like you said, a process, like going first within, and then the strategy. And any strategy works. Like, and I don't know if you agree with me, Daniela. Any strategy works, but who is the person that is executing the strategy? The thing that matters the most. Like, it has to be a balance right there, right?
Yes, I mean, the strategies work, you know, and everybody, if we look across the industry, the people that are really successful are successful in such different ways. It's really extraordinary to see how everybody gets to shine with their own ways and their own strategies. So it's not the strategy itself. It's our alignment with that strategy and our belief within ourselves and in the energy that we show up. I think why I was sharing this on my Telegram actually yesterday. And I was saying this first 6 figures of my business, I had 200 people in a Facebook group. And then I had 500 people on my newsletter. Like, what? I mean, yes, I had an Instagram account that was kind of big because of my yoga career, but those were yoga people that had no idea about coaching. This was completely new to them. And when I started selling my coaching packages, a lot of people left.
Yeah.
So I made the 6 figures, like not knowing too much about strategy. I didn't even have a platform to hold my courses, you know. It was all Google Drive. Like I shared, you know, I sent people this like, you know, just
That's so fun.
one PDF, you know, for your homework or whatever. And I just had Zoom. Like I was literally just, but my belief in myself was so unshakable and unwavering. My alignment to it was so true. And I just knew that I knew what I was doing and I loved, you know, I love to work with people. So that was like allow for things to come really easily. But here's something that I want to say about like going really deep.
Yeah.
In the trajectory of my spiritual development and my personal development and my professional development, there has been times where I had to go really, really deep and
Mm.
take even time off to really implement all of the personal development. But nowadays, the work that I like to do with my clients, and you know this, and I really want this for all of us, like we don't need to go so deep that we need to stop everything and go to a retreat and like, you know, go so deep to like cry for days and hours.
Yeah.
We can go really deep, really fast
Yeah.
and integrate in divine timing, but in a timing that is efficient for ourselves. Like I really don't believe in this self-sacrifice and self-victim, like this victimhood of like, I need to heal so that I can allow myself to have everything that I want. And I need to go really deep and look at my shadows and all these things. Like I'm really not about that. I'm just
Mm.
about being honest and looking at the things that we need to look at to quickly shift and to allow ourselves to implement and to trust that the change and the transformation is happening as we allow ourselves to look at it, but not be stuck with it or
Mm.
not over identify where the things that we have gone through.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to say.
Mm. And I think it's thank you for sharing that as well. Like, it's really important to understand that, because sometimes we, like you said, we think that we have to like go away for a week or for a couple of days. So like, no, I mean, it could be really easy if we let ourselves to to be it in that way. This is what I also love about you, Daniela. You go to the point and you make it. Do you take a big piece of something, is whatever issue that I consider issues, like, and you digest it, you like dissect it so easy, so like so simple, and it's like, and in my head it was like a whole thing, and I was like, for years, like, no, just like this and that. So like, I
Mhm.
think that is the importance of having a mentor. Well, I was mentioning also to you that the time that we were to work together, I mean, we did the inner work, but also you're all about strategy and business and uh, everything. And that part as well allow me to move the business in a different route. So like that is you're like magical, I will say, because you have it all. Like you combine everything and you do it from a way that is has order and it feels right and it feels like yes, of course you push me and I'm in the age and I'm in the point of like stretching, but it feels right. It feels like I'm growing. It doesn't feel like pushy, like you have to do this my way. You give me options, and that is really amazing, and especially in this industry, having
Mhm.
someone that is able to hold you to doing the work, but at the same time do the work, but do the work and move,
And
helping.
move.
Yeah, right.
Yes. And here's why I think it's so important, like for anybody that's listening to this, like that question that I ask you, it's a question that we really need to ask ourselves because in this industry, as you're saying, there's so much. All of us have so much to offer. There's incredible women offering incredible things. So for what we're here to share, and I was saying this also the other day, I was like, you know, the saying that says, if I can do it, you can do it too.
Yeah,
And so I'm 50-50 on that,
yeah.
right?
It's like
50 on the
yeah,
fact that if I say, okay, I created six figures in this time by this way, through this strategy, doing these things, if I did it like that, you can also do it like that. I don't believe in that.
but it could be like either way. Like it
Right,
all.
but the
Yeah,
potentiality exists. The
yeah.
potentiality exists. I can do incredible things and you can do incredible things. I agree with that. But what I don't agree is in this, if I did it, you can do it. So then what we try to do is we try to copy the strategy. We try to copy the model of how that person did it. And that's where we get wrong because we are the question of who are you is a question of really allowing ourselves to look within and to notice what are the DNA, the makeup, the cellular makeup that I have that is originally unique to me, because that is my way. Like my way is my way and is the only way, because that's my stamp, that's my signature, that's my brand. So it's allowing ourselves not to try to be original or try to copy somebody else, but it's to go within and ask, but when I walk into a room, who am I?
Yeah.
What is my energy? What is my thing? What is my story? What is my
Mm,
vibe? You know,
yeah.
and really allow ourselves to go into that journey of who am I, and letting that who I am volume up and expand into this like force, into this magnetic
Yeah.
energy and unique energy that then becomes the easy magnetizing of clients, of people trusting us, of people feeling incredible in our world, like all of that. So it's asking ourselves, like, who am I within this coaching industry? Not trying to compare, not trying to, you know, position myself more or less or whatever. It's just that simple question of who am I? Because that is the way, that is the only way that that unlimited potentiality will happen for you, because it will happen your way.
Yeah. And I wanted to add to that, Dani, because on the work that we did together in like you brought the human design. And for me, I'm a manifestor. It's like you go initiate, you're bold, this and that. And I knew that. I knew, like, and let me tell you, I knew that. But it was just like, well, and I mentioned to you this, I remember this conversation, like, but I'm gonna lose people. And you're just like, who cares? Like, it's gonna be the right people are gonna join you. And it's like, I was kind of like, kind of like that. But like you said, the more that the work that I did on myself, and of course having the guidance like that in that specific season where like having the guidance like specific
Yeah.
in on that divine timing what's essential right now when I put things out there it's like I don't think about like it is going to sound right and I'm attracting my real tribe. It didn't happen all at once, but I'm attracting people that really resonate with my message. Even if they're like less people, they're powerful people that are really vibing, that I don't have to bring it on, like convince, try, mothering, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that is one of the things that we have to allow ourselves, especially as an entrepreneurs, like don't of course follow guidance but don't try to do it exactly or in the way that doesn't feel right to ourselves, right? Right. So
in
um
this in this
yeah.
journey of entrepreneurship and coaching and leadership, we get paid to evolve and we get paid to lead. So
Yeah.
if we're not leading, and when I talk about leadership, I always talk about like self-leadership. So if we're not leading the most important person that there is to lead in our lives, which is ourselves,
Mm,
then we're not evolving, we're not growing.
yeah.
And then what we're attracting, it's probably not the most likely things that we want.
Yeah.
When we allow ourselves to step into that arena, and for me, like every time, the more I trust myself, the more I allow my energy to flow, the more I allow my work to show me the magic and my work to be carried out, without effort. And the more I don't overthink things and the more I am just myself and
Yeah.
allow myself to be enough for that. And I don't overthink it and I just go for it and I stay connected and I do my work to clear out any kind of bullshit that says that I cannot have what I want. Things flow way, way easier than when I try to copy somebody, when I get caught up in what I was saying, comparison or not enoughness, because that really is one of our, like, the killers of magic. So our way is our way and is the only way.
Mm. So deep and so true and so simple. And I think the simple things, I don't know who said this, but the simple things are easy, of course, to do and not to do.
Mhm.
Really, like I think it was Jim Rohn. I'm not sure. Don't don't get me. I think it was that quote on
I won't
him,
quote you on that.
something like that, right? But it's just so simple. At the final of the day, everything is simple. But if we let it to be simple, I would love to for you, Daniela. I would love to ask you what is your opinion about mentorship and coaching, and especially for people that are here for the long run, for people that are here with a message that they know that this is their mission, their calling.
I would say from experience, and the reason why, again, I believe so much in it,
Yeah.
it's because even before I was a coach and a mentor, like I could see people transform in front of my eyes. And what I realized is like, it was not so much what I was bringing in terms of information, but what I was allowing them to remember. And again, the space, coming back to the first thing that I said at the beginning of the podcast, I needed a space to breathe. I needed a space that was non-judgmental. I needed a space where I was just being heard and being seen and being existing. I needed a space where I could just be. So I feel like mentorship, it's like a breath of fresh air. It's like a place where I know that I'm held. I know that I'm seen. I know that I don't need to be anything. I can just be. And I
Mm,
could just really see myself so deeply and allow somebody that is there, that it's holding me to a standard that I know that I'm capable of being. So for me, every single year I've had a mentorship. The first year where I created the business, the second year that we doubled the business, like I've always had mentorship, and I tell you, I thrive, and I've had different types of mentorships. I think it's important to know what type of mentorship works for you the most. Like
yeah.
what I've noticed is like I love to learn strategies and I'm all about it. But for long-term mentorship, it doesn't work for me to be with somebody that's too much in their head because I'm already kind of a strategist and I'm already like a Virgo overthinker. So I need somebody that reminds me more of my magic because my magic is actually what makes me money, I say.
Yeah.
My magic is what makes me money, my aliveness, my easiness when I'm in my gifts, when I'm allowing myself to to do what I do best without trying too much to apply certain strategies. So I know what kind of women and what kind of mentorship works for me, and is the people that remind me of my magic, that put me back in that connection with myself, because we can be great at what we do, but it always going to be harder for us to see ourselves. It is
Yeah.
easier to see other people and to coach other people and to be objective about other people. But when it comes to us, we have blind spots. And that's where I think mentorship cuts through all that bullshit.
Mm,
So know what type of mentorship works for you best and just give yourself the gift and the support and the love to have mentorship. This is what I say to myself, like allow yourself to be loved, to be supported, to not have to have it all together, to not be perfect, to be held in that space of that yoga class where you can breathe. And
Mm,
you're not being judged. You know that you're just being heard and supported and something that's going to help you continue.
so
Yeah.
beautiful. And I think it was that your magic, the thing that was attracting me in the first place. Like some people said, like they have to watch you for 7 hours or I don't know how many hours. Like people have to see you 20,000 times. So it's like I saw you one time, and I was like, and I attended your master class, and I was like, send me the link. I didn't stalk you. Like I'm telling you, yeah, I was just like, she has something a message for me. I didn't watch 20,000 of your videos. I didn't knew like pretty much like it was just like pretty you were pretty new in my world, but I was like I can feel that she has something for me, a message. And I didn't I one of the beautiful things that you have, Daniela, when you welcome me back in your world, it was just like a like you said a place, an environment, a container that was feeling just so right, like so like oh, I can breathe, no judgment, just pure like this loving, direct, honest approach, which is so amazing. Like, and I felt that right away, but I didn't have the like necessity to like just to watch you to bench all the things. I think for me it was just like it feels right. Her energy
Mm.
feels safe. It's something for me here that I she's gonna expand. And I never put I think the difference as well here I want to mention the mentorship like for the people that are listening to the podcast, when you enter into a container program, you name it, go like Daniela said, because you know that the kind of person mentor that you want to work with, that she's going to expand, but don't put all the responsibility. You have to evolve. It's not the
Hmm.
responsibility of like I'm gonna pay you 5, 20K, 10K, 2K, and you're gonna give me the world. You know what I mean? Like I think that is not the vibe. And when we enter into something with an open mind and coachable and understanding that it's something she's gonna expand, she's gonna activate something that is already within us. It's not
Yeah.
like we're not putting so much pressure on neither both, right?
100%, 100%. I mean, there are different kinds of mentorship. So there is a mentorship where there is a lot of consulting, and there's a lot of, here's the strategy, here's the formula, this is how you implement it, But even then, like we get paid to be leaders. Like if we're not leading the most important person in our life, which is ourselves and our business, like we're not getting paid. We're not gonna, people are not gonna come into our spaces because that's just the way that it goes. Like we get paid to lead. So we've got to lead in mentorship in every single, not only just in the business, but behind the business too. Like we've got to lead, and that goes for every single choice and every single move that we make in the business and in our lives.
Mm, so good. Daniela, I would love as well to ask you if you can share with us before we close our episode, what are the things, what are the ways that we can enter into your role? What are you having right now?
Oh, thank you so much. First of all, I'm just like, again, so happy we had this conversation. Every time we have a conversation, it's always like so exciting. I feel like we just kind of go in this little vortex and all these things happen and we just have incredible conversations. So I feel so blessed to have, women in my life like you that are just legends, basically. So like this podcast really is like, and I keep on thinking about you lately because there's so much going on with your podcast. And I just keep on thinking and saying to myself, like, the name is so perfect. Like, the name is so perfect. She really is a legend of legends. Like, I love it. So anyway, you are an incredible woman. And I'm so happy, for everybody that gets to listen to this podcast that you've put together for everyone and for your clients and everybody that gets to work with you. Like you are the most remarkable woman that I've ever met. Like you're so remarkable. Your story, the way that you lead yourself in and out of the business is just so beautiful to see. You're a jewel. So with that said, right in this moment, I only have private spaces open. I don't have much going on in terms of programs and things like that because we are shifting things and we're creating some really, really practical stuff. So while I allow myself to create all of that in the back end, I'm just doing private mentorship at the time. So I go with like month intensives and then longer private mentorship. But really, the best way to, if you feel connected to the energy, if you just want to continue to be in this magic, um, to come and join me in my Telegram community. I'm there like almost every day. I think it's like the most the
Yeah,
most
you're really
valuable
active.
place.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. I just give and give and give to that space because I know that, it gives me it gives me to gift into that space and to always come in there and to share what's going on and what's happening. So I'm there almost every day, just sharing jewels, sharing energy, sharing, you know, perspectives and everything. So if you just want to stay connected, I think Telegram is a great way to come into the DA world magic.
Yeah, I've been listening to you. I'm part of the Telegram, and
Oh,
that is,
you're
yeah, I am part of, and that is the vibe. It's really, really amazing. And it's not only text, the voice memos and the video that you did yesterday was just like, oh God. One of the things that I want to mention as well, Daniela, and thank you for sharing, and people that are considering to work with Daniela. I mean, I didn't have to bench her stuff to say she's the deal. So, like, if you have any questions or like where you can find her, I'm gonna put either above or below this video, and also on the podcast, the Telegram, and also her Instagram and Facebook. I would love to mention before we close up, I'm going to ask you another question after this, but you mentioned about the House of Legends, right? And back then I was under my name, remember when we were working together? And I haven't shared this before. No, I haven't, neither with you, no one. Y- When I decided to open up like the company, I was like, what is the name? And actually, you led me to the name. I was like, the House of Legends, let's do it. So you said, don't overthink it, just do it. And thanks to you, I was like, you allowed me, like I said, to activate my manifestation energy. I was like, something bold, something else. Like, I'm a legend, the House of Legends. And I was like, cool. And from there, but you were the one that put the seed.
Oh my God, I love this full circle moment. I love it so
Yeah.
much. And it's seriously, I think it's the coolest name and it really is just so powerful. Like I love it. So I'm so happy to be part of it. What a blessing. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Thanks for
you
sharing.
put the seed and it was like, cool, let's do it. And I just moved and it was really incredible. So the company now is under that name and all that. But you were the one that said, just do it. You put that seed and that seed activated less than 24 hours when it's like, I moved Daniela. And I remember that we'd have a call and I told you the company is already set and all that. So it was pretty beautiful. So the last question here, Daniela. And I know, and many of the people, even listening to this podcast by now, know your gifts. But I would love to ask you, what is your superpower? What is that gift that it's not only for the world, but you know that you came here to share. What is your superpower?
That just a very beautiful question. I love that. I think that for me, my superpower is to connect so deeply to somebody that it like touches their heart and their core. And for me, of course, is being able to see that, like to really connect so deeply with somebody and to see so deeply somebody that even I sometimes see people to a depth that they don't even see themselves for a while until we work together for a while. So I think that is my gift is the gift of the depth of the heart and the
Mm,
truth of the
I'm totally agree.
very core essence of it. Yeah.
Yes, that's so beautiful. And thank you, Danielle. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing this time with us. Like you are not only a beautiful woman inside, out, right? Inside out, but you're such a gift. And like I said, like you you are, a big part of my journey, and I'm so grateful for you.
Thank you so much. I received this so deeply. I really, really feel loved and seen and appreciated. And it has been a blessing also for me. And thank you so much for allowing me and to trusting and coming in the space. And I know I push sometimes, and you're like, let's go. You know,
It was so good. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I think you're incredible and you're amazing, and I love you very much. So thank you. Thank you for this space.
Thank you. All right. I will see you next week. Thank you so much for listening to this. Take care. Thank you so much for being here. Your presence is greatly appreciated, and it truly means a lot to me. If you could support us by leaving a 5-star review, it will help us to connect with more extraordinary and influential women like you. With that being said, thanks once again, and let's look forward to an amazing and legendary week ahead.